You're listening to the ReachCast show, your weekly stop for the latest and greatest in the PlanetSide 2 universe and its community.
Welcome, ghouls and gals. No, that's not even funny. This is October 21st, and you're listening to episode 56 of the ReachCast show. We are proud members of the Araxis Global Network and the Podcast Network, podcast with a K. I'm your host, Adam, a.k.a. Torx. With me tonight is my co-host, Mark, a.k.a. Derringer.
Good evening, everyone.
Tom couldn't be with us tonight. He said something about skydiving in Brazil. But to replace him is a much better person in this world, and that would be ItZMuRda. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on the show. Pleasure to be here. I figured Knox talked about me enough as it was, so you may as well just bring me in.
Why not? Why not? You're a perfect candidate for his replacement.
Let's be clear before people get the wrong idea. A one-show replacement, no offense, Murda, but Tom will be back next week.
Yeah, it's not permanent. That being said, this week's show is brought to you by MetLife Dividends. Our MetLife Dividends in our stocks, which coincidentally is the same life insurance Tom carries. He's skydiving in Brazil. It's a hint, because I had to tell Mark about this. And also by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on ReachCastShow.com. What do we have in store for you for this show? We have a patch, Mother of God, Halloween, WDS, or World Domination Series, for those of you that don't know what the acronym means, and OMFG, the forced acronym used for Operation Make Fast or Game, and more emails, etc., and calls from our friend across the pond. On to patch updates.
I'm going to get these mosquitoes in the air and rain down some hellfires on those fools. Oh no! What the f***? I should have listened to the ReachCast patch notes.
All right, we haven't heard that noise in a while, so we do have actually a couple small patches to talk about. First up, client hotfix on 10.17, where there was a small fix to correct some bugs with a couple different helmets that were in the game, and then they turned right around and dropped the fall festivity items in the depot. So you've got some Halloween-themed hood ornaments, camos, horns, decals, etc., etc., etc. They are all in the depot right now. If you are on the fence, grab them now before they are gone, like the Stars and Stripes camo or the flare gun. Same with the flare gun and the camo. You guys can buy them now and still use them after the fall festivity ends. So, again, if you've been hemming and hawing over this, get in there and get those things before you cry afterwards. And that's it for patches, unless you guys got anything else to add.
I can add something. I just want to say that I like that sound clip the most, by the way, so I'm glad that I got to hear it again.
Good.
As far as the mini patch of the three hotfixes, that the Spectre helm, the TR helm, I thought it was kind of interesting, and I noticed this the other day because I bought the Spectre helm, and I was considering buying before any of these changes, and then I noticed that they, in the patch before this hotfix, made it so that they changed the camo coverage, and I really liked how it looked, so I bought it. And then this hotfix changed the change that they implemented like the day before, so they reverted it again, but not to the original. So it's been like 3 different forms now, and currently, I'm assuming it's bugged. If you go to like your character screen or whatever you want to call it to look at yourself, it has the face mask is black and the back of the helmet has your camo on it. But if you're like in third person, say on like a flash or something, it's the reverse of that. So the face mask is camoed and the back of your helmet is black. So I don't know which one's the intended camo design, but it seems like there's like 2 versions of it in game. So I thought that was interesting. But anyway, I bought it. Looks cool.
Nice. With that being said, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I can't think of anything else. Let's go to community briefing.
Attention, soldiers! Get your butts in here for this week's community briefing.
All right. First off, the community briefing. We do not have any F&O this week, but we do have OMFG Episode 5. So, let me break down for you what happened in OMFG Episode 5, or Operation Make Faster Game 5. So Trey, or T-Ray, talking smack about camo patterns and rescaling them, and him having to do some work, and saving memory for the game by just changing the camo patterns from 512 to 256. That's the majority of it. And then Corey Navage, the lead level designer, said that they're cutting down on unique objects for the game. That's one of their general tasks, to cut down on or to increase the FPS rate of the game. They also are combining a great deal of smaller assets into larger ones, reducing objects that need to be rendered in the game. So imagine the floor of a base is asset, I don't know, XG. Well, asset XG, there's 26 of them to render the floor of this base. So you're rendering 26 unique objects, or 26 objects, I should say, to render the base floor. Well, instead they're just combining those 26 into one object. So you're rendering one object for the base floor, but it's just 26 of those objects combined. It does increase unique objects, but it does decrease the general, or the majority of the assets trying to be rendered by the engine when you're looking at a base. So that's one of the things they're doing to speed up the game. And then it went to Alexander Claus, or Xander Claus, and he's a game designer for PlanetSide 2. And he's also, I guess, a majority of his work includes removing unique objects from the game, removing unique cover objects and barrels and this and that, replacing them with objects that are not unique to the environment. So, say there's an ammo crate, 3 barrels, and a small crate on top of the ammo crate used for this cover object. Through removing the barrels and the small crate and just taking 3 ammo crates and making the same amount of cover with those 3 crates, so they're not using unique objects in the base, things like that. Then went back to Corey Navage, and he made a comment about that they are currently basically redoing all the unique objects and the previous reworking I was talking about on Endar right now. That'll be phase 1 of OMFG, and then phase 2 will be Amrish and Esamir. So this first patch being released by SOE will be basically an optimization of Endar as far as the bases are concerned. And then they'll go on to Amrish and Esamir. So then they drank a lot of beer. That it was OMFG this week.
And I don't think we're going to cover this anywhere else in the show, so now is as good a time as any to bring it up. Higbee did tweet today that they were hoping to drop this first phase patch on the test server today. As of this recording, it's not up yet, but I would expect it to be up shortly, because he says they're still shooting for an October 30th full, live server release of this first phase of the optimization. So, and he said that in his tweet as well today. So, I guess that's good stuff. Yeah,
it's pretty exciting.
I'm excited about it.
They've been talking it up a lot. So, hopefully they deliver, but they've been making it sound like it's going to be amazing, and, everybody's going to run the game wonderfully. So, hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, they've put a lot more effort behind advertising, I guess, per se, this OMFG than a lot of the other pieces of the game. I guess, I wonder if that's to do with the fact that they're not releasing content, so they're trying to keep the user base up to date with what's going on to appease them, or if it's just because they are really proud of what's going on with the OMFG effort.
Well, I think we're still hitting a point where people are being frustrated that it's not out yet and there's no new content at this point yet as well. So they may be doing a good job of pushing OMFG, but I still think they're getting people who are disgruntled at this point, and perhaps people are leaving the game because of it.
Taking a break.
Yeah, I shouldn't say leaving.
Yeah, I'm trying to encourage people to come back. People who ask on my stream all the time, they come through and they say, I haven't played in a couple months. My computer ran it really bad a while ago, and I usually tell them to make sure to check it out, after the optimization patch comes through. So hopefully we'll see people returning that may have taken a break, or they just couldn't run it to begin with.
We even have a email later on that goes into that as well. But going back to them removing the number of unique objects, I watched the video. I'm sure, Murda, you did too. But at one point, I thought to myself, they're removing all these unique things. Are they kind of unprettying the game? And I wonder if you guys thought that as well. I kind of like how there was all kinds of unique stuff in the game, but I'm worried that they're going to remove too much, and it's just going to look like they're the same thing over and over and over again in every base you go to, and it's going to remove some of the uniqueness of each of these bases just to serve optimization. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but worried that the game's going to lose the balance that it had, and it's going to be shifting one direction and look less pretty. I don't want to turn people towards Battlefield 4, but I mean, Battlefield 4, all the talk is, wow, this game is beautiful. And are people going to draw comparisons between this and Battlefield 4 and say, wow, why couldn't PlanetSide get the prettiness factor and the optimization all in the same run without making it kind of cookie cutter? I don't know if either of you thought of that, or maybe it's just my opinion on this matter.
I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. I guess that even like the example that Torx used that they talked about where, you get rid of a few barrels in order to replace them with crates that already exist elsewhere so that you're using less unique objects. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I'm probably like the worst person to ask because I just turn all my graphics down to low anyway for performance. So Tira hates me for that. But so, I mean, me personally, it doesn't bother at all. The game looks amazing if you play it on Ultra, don't get me wrong. But, I always try to get as much performance out of it as possible anyway. So it's not going to change it for me, but I totally understand what you're talking about. A lot of people like that and, are looking for that, or that's the first thing they see and they're like, oh, but the game looks so beautiful. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I could get that. I think that there'll probably still be enough unique things. Like, even if you look at some of the screenshots that Clegg has been posting of his work on Amrish and stuff like that, that's coming up. I mean, the game still looks really, really good. So I think in the grand scheme, you're not going to be like, oh, that, we don't have this barrel. We only have one barrel instead of 4 different types of barrels. I think it'll be all right, but I totally understand what you're saying.
Now, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it will probably be all right as well, but it just kind of concerns me that this is the only way that they can increase that optimization is to kind of cookie cutter everything into the game. So, whatever. As long as the game runs better for more people, I think it's probably in the best interest.
Agreed.
But I'm trying to look at both sides of the coin, that's all.
All 3 sides of the coin.
Well, there's only 2 in this case, so.
All 3 sides.
Well, should we move on to the World Domination Series?
Yes, Vladimir.
All right. So World Domination Series preseason was extended because they dropped some new changes in this past week. So biggest changes all were made to the scoring system. So we're going to see the territory values for holds and caps scale based on the amount of enemies on the continent. So basically, bye-bye ghost capping Amrish for the win. I know a lot of people early on in WDS were dropping onto Amrish, ghost capping the entire continent and getting huge points. I can tell you a couple servers that I personally know were doing this, and rightfully so. Next up, territory that belongs to the WDS leader for the server will have a 50% increased point cap value for the other factions. So it'll make it tougher for that leader to continue their leadership dominance. Small outposts, large outposts, and major facilities all had their points increased. So smalls are now worth 10 points a cap with 20 points per hour held. Large are up to 30 points cap with 50 points per hour held. And major facilities, these are your biolabs, etc. You get 50 points for a cap and 100 points for every hour held. So lots of increases on the points totals. So to test all these changes before WDS goes live, they've extended everything until October 27th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific. So when I checked earlier this evening, Vanu is stomping 7 out of 8 servers. Waterson is the only one that's keeping the purple tide at bay. So TR, NC, let's step up your game. Otherwise, I'll be gloating on October 28th. And I think that's all we got for the World Domination, unless you guys have anything else to add.
If you play Vanna, you may as well be using aimbots.
Whatever. TR's been owning the WDS for week after week after week. It's a breath of fresh air, albeit purple fresh air, to see another faction on top of the WDS. So the question is, my first thought is, wow, these points must have actually made a difference. These point changes.
I want to see Clegg make a change that actually makes NC be on top, and Clegg, find a way to make the stats so that the NC win this. I challenge you to find any way to change the stats of this game to make NC win WDS.
I'll tell you how to do it, okay? It's taking a page from Borderlands 2. I'm playing my Necromancer. She's got a shotgun that, when she's got her anarchy stacks up to 200, I'm killing 3 people with 1 shot in a row. That's all he needs to do to NC.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that all factions can only use shotguns.
No, just NC. I want to see their shotguns go through 3 people, killing them all in 1 hit.
Oh, okay. So shotguns, for NC, shoot rockets.
No,
And they
just shotgun shells, but they do so much damage that they just blast through 3 or 4 people in 1 hit.
Okay.
Sounds balanced.
Let's see that change put in. I would like to see WDS NC win it, since they've basically been stomped out in every single iteration of WDS.
You know, you say that, but I want to say when I looked at it earlier, even though Vanu was winning everything, the rest were, second place was split evenly between TR and NC across the other servers. So I don't think that NC is as in bad shape as it may appear. Obviously Vanu own all the servers for the most part right now.
So you're basically saying Vanu is overpowered?
No, I'm just saying that they seem to be shining now that the point changes have been implemented.
OP.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of who's winning, it was a really good change to bring those in and to test it out. I think the fact that they, increased the points so exponentially made it so that somebody could come back, because, 4 or 5 weeks in with TR winning every week, if they didn't do something like that, then TR was just going to win regardless. But, like I said, winner aside, I think it's a good change to balance it. And they've got more things in the works for it that are probably going to balance it out even better. I think one of the biggest problems still with it, or, things that cause a certain empire to tend to have more territory, is just the Northern Warp Gate syndrome that's going on, because VS have Indar's Northern Warp Gate right now, and they've rotated it, but VS kind of landed on the Northern Warp Gate once the final changes went in. So I don't know if it would look different if they didn't have that, or if another empire had that. But since the majority of fights are usually in the southern central bases, the Northern Empire usually just holds so much of it. So that probably has at least a bit to do with it. But they're definitely on the right track towards balancing it, I think.
Well, there you go. In all seriousness, then, if there's something that Clay can do for the NC, let's give them the Northern Warp Gate for a week and see if they'd win WDS for a week. That would prove or disprove your point.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's a simple change, too, They rotate Warp Gates all the time.
Let's do lock-ons.
All right. I troll Reddit on a regular basis, and we got some good feedback last week for our 3 community topics that we brought up, so we wanted to make sure that we continue on that trend. So on Reddit this week, there was a request for different indicators for air-to-air and ground-to-air lock-ons. Now, it was mostly a lot of people agreeing, saying, yes, let's bring different indicators, but there was one response to this post brought up by Hater102, who argued that you shouldn't get different indicators. And his reasoning why is he felt that having different indicators would make it too easy for pilots, because every discussion he has, he's read, indicates you'll get a directional and a sound indicator. So instead, he'd prefer a directional indicator and something no one said yet, a radar signature of the actual missile itself. So this would still force pilots to react, would still give some element of surprise to the soldier on the ground firing that ground-to-air rocket. He's definitely a proponent of forcing pilots to be more situationally aware rather than making it easy mode with all different kinds of indicators, which ultimately would, handicap all pilots, just making life easier for them without less skill is really what it would bring it down to. And I really like the points that Hater brought up. And I felt really bad that he got obnoxiously downvoted for his good points. And I thought we could just take a moment and discuss it so I can get your guys' thoughts on it. I don't play air that much, but I do play ground to air a lot. And having different indicators and a directional indicator, I agree with Hater. I feel that it's going to make being a ground-air rocket soldier a little bit more difficult to sneak up and get that lock-on shot on any pilot for that matter. So I send it over to you two if you have anything to add to this topic.
Go ahead, Murda. I don't have too much to add to this.
Well, I mean, piloting is not, my strongest suit, but I do it from time to time. I think that it's certainly something that we should have improved the indication in one way or another. I'm not really sure how much of a preference I have. I think that the directional plus the radar signature that he indicated was a pretty cool idea. I don't know if they've got the systems in place to do something like that very easily or not. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never really use lock-on weapons myself, so I'm only on one side of the coin where I'm the one that's getting locked on to, and it would just be nice to have some sort of, a little bit more to go off of, not to make it completely brainless and, and easy to avoid, but just some more information to work with, I think is really all I'd like. But like I said, I'm not the one. I've got like probably 0 kills with lock-on weaponry out of my 100,000 kills. So I can't tell you from the ground perspective or from the air-to-air pods perspective, just because I don't use them.
See, I use air to ground, ground to air a lot. So this it does kind of affect me, and I mean I notice already that it's tough to hit pilots as it is. It's tough to hit good pilots as it is with ground to air lock-ons, and giving them a special noise plus the direction that it's coming from is going to make it so easy for them to just turn around and home in on me and take me out if they really want to, while dodging that rocket, since I already know, pop some flares, do a reverse maneuver, and come right down on my location, meaning I don't get a jump on them at all.
I very rarely use any rockets for air. I always just use flak. I always go to max and just flak. Rockets seem to have such a distinct disadvantage with times or rate for dumbfires, or it's range for I should say for dumbfires. Let's go to flak. And if you're intelligent about how you use your flak, it's your kill ratio and it's just so much better.
Yeah, well, flak is a completely different subject altogether.
Granted,
because you're not going to get a lock. You're not going to get an indicator while you're flying from flak. It's just going to start hitting you.
Exactly. You don't get any indicator. You fly in on something thinking you're safe, and all of a sudden, boom, game over. I don't know. It's just what I do. I just like flak better than lock-on, but it's not really contributing to this discussion, so I apologize.
I do agree with what you said, Murda, though. The radar signature of the missile is an excellent idea, and I agree. I don't think that Sony has SOE has the ability to drop that into the game, but that would be an interesting change. And I if I recall correctly, that was in PlanetSide 1, though. You could see where all the rockets were coming from on your mini-map, so... Either way.
Yeah, that sounds about right in like a really crude fashion, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think that's in direct confrontation with the optimization strategy right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but...
add more things.
But eventually
add more assets to render.
Eventually they're going to do an ESF pass, so...
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Let's go to the community question for the week, if that's all right with you.
Shall we?
Okay. So last week we asked, what condition is your PlanetSide 2 outfit in and why? Also, is your outfit actively recruiting, or is your outfit actively trying to recruit, and how? So, honestly, we received probably 3/4 of our responses saying that our outfit's doing great. We're exactly where we want to be, which surprised the hell out of me.
Me too.
And, saying that some people said they're actively picking up people every week. Some are saying they're being more selective about it. A couple people say that they have a lot of people on during their active nights. So during their, the term raid night or ops night was used several times. So during those nights, they have people on, but the other nights people are playing other games because they aren't finding a reason to want to stay in game, most evenings out of the week. We had a mix of responses, but I want to say that more than 3/4 of the responses were positive, saying their outfit was doing great, which was good. I was really glad to hear that. A quarter of them were saying that they're having a lot of problems to drop off due to the stagnation of the game. So but generally, I think we had some pretty positive responses. So I don't have much else to say other than that.
Well, when we get down to the email section, we had a lot of responses via email that we'll go over. So,
okay, what do you think, Murda? What do you think generally about that question?
Well, I guess I'll say that I'm glad and a little bit surprised, like you said, that you got the overwhelming positive response. It's a point at the moment where PlanetSide, like it or not, is in a little bit of a slump just because of the lack of new content. Like, they needed to take this time off to do optimization, and I think all or most of us understand that, but it's still people's, especially gamers' nature to kind of be really impatient. And, when there's not a patch that they expect every 2 weeks, they, start looking at other things to play, and they get bored and they get whatever. And it's been a couple months now in that situation, and hopefully people are hanging on and stuff, but it's really good to hear that many people still had positive things to report, and I think it's only going to get better with optimization right around the corner, and a PlayStation 4 release, and MLG into next year, and then the content coming back with Hassan and so on and so forth. So if they made it this far, I think they're in good shape, and it's good to hear for sure.
How is the health of your outfit?
Good, very good. Future Crew is primarily my only outfit these days. I'm in other outfits, but they're just kind of casual hangouts for PlanetSide 1 players that hop on from time to time. But Future Crew is doing great. We still do our ops or practices or scrims or whatever at least 2 nights a week. Kind of been setting up some things by ourselves with other outfits who are interested in practicing on the test server and things like that. And we'll have there's only 80 some people in the outfit to begin with, and almost all of them are active on a very regular basis. So we've got probably 40 or so people, almost a full platoon on for our ops, and then you can pretty much log in any time of the day, and there's at least a squad on. So it's been a lot of fun for sure.
Good to hear.
All right.
Good to hear, because like you said, I think we were all pretty surprised at the response to this question. So.
This week's question will be presented to you by ItZMuRda. So,
oh boy.
Let's hear this
right.
week's question.
So, pretty straightforward. If you watched Command Center, episode 18, I think it was, the one that happened this month, Torx is going to put a link up to the timestamp where they talk about it. But T-Ray posed the question, or at least, I guess it wasn't really a question from him, but he had mentioned that the anniversary is coming up. It's actually a month from yesterday, the 1-year anniversary of the launch of PlanetSide on November 20th. And he said that they're going to do something special, some sort of big anniversary surprise, something like that. And they seem to say that it would be something that they would do for the whole month. I'm not really sure how to interpret that part of it. Something that they didn't have the resources for previously, but now they do, something that we've been wanting since day one. Didn't really give us any hints beyond that. And we're wondering what you guys think the special anniversary surprise is going to be.
All right. Special anniversary surprise. Higby's hair and conditioner type are not out of the question and being delivered to each person's home. Yeah. So that's part of it. On to Community Clash.
Prepare yourselves! This is the PlanetSide 2 Community Clash.
Alright. Community Clash has taken several weeks off to get ready for our new format. It's going to be a ladder system. It's going to probably be, get your team ready, because there's only going to be a certain amount of slots. And that's all I'm going to say, because it's more than I've said about what's going on to pretty much anywhere else. So.
You're not going to go into details on why we're taking a couple weeks off?
Oh, take a couple weeks off because we want a private server and we don't want to keep doing things on a PTS that breaks down every week.
I mean, this past week we tried to do a 24v24, and then as soon as anybody joined a platoon, you couldn't respawn anywhere. So little things like that kind of forced our hand to kind of wait for a more permanent solution.
SOE has to have a place to test things, and I understand that. I entirely understand that. It's just not a good place to do a show for obvious reasons. So we need to wait till private server is stood up, and we can do a show on it. It is what it is. I mean, there's not. I'm not complaining about SOE or to SOE. I'm just saying that the inherent behavior of the PTS is not good for the show. So we need to wait. And we need to kind of figure out what we're going to do with the ladder, rules revolving around the private server, and what size the format of the show needs to be. We're being dragged in a lot of different directions by the community. So we kind of need to find out a good format where everybody wants to watch the show and enjoy it, because that's what we're doing for it. We're just doing it for fun. You guys want to watch a show and enjoy it, that's what we're trying to do. So,
And we got some good ideas.
Yeah, Murda gave us a lot of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Murda,
I think it's a... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You sounded very excited.
I was going to say, you were supposed to be a guest caster on this week's
well, I'm still right. If I don't make you guys hate me by the end of this episode, I'm still going to be a caster, right, on the next one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
that's correct.
Okay.
I felt horrible when we couldn't get that going, and we kept you up past your bedtime and everything, and it was just like,
I've got the old man bedtime these days.
Yeah, the slippers turn into pumpkins or whatever the term is.
Mm-hmm. Something.
It was
Something
no good.
like that. I think it's a good decision to hold off, though. I think that it's wise, and hopefully it'll turn out well. Like it or not, I know there's the war report, and I'm not going to try to bash the war report, but the community clash is essentially like the highest form of competitive PlanetSide right now, at least as regarded by the community from what I've heard. So you want to shape it to be what people want, and to be fair, and to still be fun and relaxed enough. But I was talking to Twiff about this the other day, actually, and he brought up the fact that major competitive leagues like TWL and Cal, they all started out as like casual community events that turned into some serious competition. So I mean, even if MLG wasn't even a thing for PlanetSide, we'd probably still be doing this, and it would probably be even more important than it is. So I think shaping the future of community clash is a really important thing to focus on, and hopefully it will be a good future, and a bright one at that.
We share the same sentiment. We hope to make the show to somewhere where the community can go to have some fun competition. So we'll see what happens. Let's go to the good, the bad, and the OP. Hey, by the way, Murda, I know we gave you no heads up on this. Hope you have a good and the bad for the week. So here we go.
All right.
Have another drink on me, soldier.
Okay, thank you kindly.
If you can look hard enough past all the death and all the sorrow, there are good things. You must remember that we will overcome the good, the bad, and the overpowered.
All right,
Alrighty.
I'm going to go first. We'll give Murda, you can go last so you have time to make sure you have yours. All right.
Fair enough.
So my good, I got 15 inches of insulation blown into my attic this week. It was great. Saw a 35% decrease in air movement afterwards, which is equivalent to, in heating and air conditioning costs, to keeping a window open all year long. So maybe I'll save some money on energy costs this year and put it into computer parts.
Congrats.
My bad is I didn't play any PlanetSide 2 this past week, unfortunately.
It's too busy blowing insulation.
Yeah, well, I hire people to do that, So,
oh yeah, as Mr. Better Than You. Let's see what it is.
So instead, I listened to the guys over on the How to Murder Time podcast. They are some of our fellow members on the podcast network, podcast with a K. I listened to them about I listened to them talk about the fun that they have been having in PlanetSide 2. If you want to get an idea, go listen to last week's episode, and you'll hear about their Flying Doctor Squad. Now, they should rename it Doctors Without Borders, but, Flying Doctor Squad is good enough.
Interesting. Okay. My gift for the week is the Higby said the optimization patch should be dropped shortly on PTS. Hopefully today, but, we'll see what happens. My bad is after I saw Derringer's comment, I went in my attic, and my insulation sucks. I'm going to have to get insulation soon.
Before I got it in, I only had 2 inches of insulation up in my attic, so it was awful.
Yeah, I have somewhere around the average of 1 to 3 inches across my attic. It's pretty bad, and I want to stab the guy that sold me this house. Be like, what is wrong with you? Really? It's leaving like 3 inches of insulation in a Missouri home when our fluctuations and seasons are so bad. You're crazy.
Same here in New England. I mean, my house.
I'm sure. Yeah.
My house was built in 1940, though, so technically it's grandfathered. It's grandfathered in under code, so it's a.
Dude, 3 inches back then was like was like 20 inches today.
Next year, we're going to do the insulation in our walls, since we have none in our walls.
Oh my gosh. No wonder you're losing, just burning heat out. It looks like living in a castle.
Yeah.
Like just going out the walls.
I do live in a castle. Who told you?
Spraying insulation on the side of a castle wall. This is great.
Jeeves, bring me another drink.
All right, Murda, it's all you, man.
I don't have anything relating to insulation, unfortunately, but I can think of some other things. I guess I'm gonna do this a little bit backwards, and hopefully it's okay. I have like a good and a bad of the same thing, so that's what we're gonna do. The good is got a new job a few weeks ago that I like, and it's a better position than I was working at before. And the bad is it's kind of keeping me really busy. I mean, that's kind of not a bad, but it's a bad for PlanetSide because I'm used to streaming every day of the week for, as long as I've been streaming, like probably close to a year now. And I did that while having a full-time job before, but I've actually had 3 days, counting today because you guys pulled me in here, 3 days lately since I've got this job that I have not been able to stream at all for the entire day. And I always feel bad when I can't do that. But, I think people understand. So that's a good and a bad.
I heard the undertones in that. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, if anything, blame Knox, not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll blame him.
All right.
But I have another good-bad hybrid.
Oh,
and that's my new mouse that I got. I've been a Razer Naga user since the original one in 2009, and I had that for a couple of years, and then I upgraded to the Naga Epic for a couple of years, and I just replaced that. I kind of needed to since it was losing some connection and tracking abilities to the new Naga 2014 edition. And it's great because it's a new mouse. It's something I like and something I'm familiar with. But it's not so great because it's the first Naga iteration that like completely changed the feel of it. So it's got mechanical buttons that are convex on your left side of the mouse rather than the concave setup of old buttons that kind of felt more like telephone-ish buttons. And it's got a scroll wheel that tilts left and right for the first time, which is probably okay, but I use my scroll wheel for my push to talk button and it's really sensitive. So if I'm pushing to talk and I move my mouse to the right, like I'm going to aim to the right, it sways to the right and then to the left. So like if I'm talking on stream or whatever and I'm moving to shoot people, I'm like constantly wiggling all over the place with my scroll button. So it's been a challenge to get used to the new feel of it, but other than that, it's an improvement over the other ones and it's solid. And, it feels good otherwise.
Nice. Huh. That's, congratulations, man, for getting a new mouse.
Thank you.
I could have sworn you were going to talk the good and the bad about Higbee's hair smell. It's good in certain days, and it's bad in others, and just, it's no good.
I use a Naga, too, and thinking what you were just saying, I'm like, oh, convex buttons, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I think to a new user, it might make more sense because, like, the lower rows are easier to hit. And I find myself hitting 8 instead of 5 and 5 instead of 2 and things like that just because they are easier to hit, but I've been used to a different setup for 4 years, so I keep like being one row off, but I'll get used to it at some point.
If I get another Naga, which I probably will, I will probably go get the Hex instead, because I just don't think I need the 12 buttons.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think the 6 might be easier to use as well. I don't know. Just my opinion. But I have no need to buy a new mouse. Now watch, I just jinxed it. My mouse is going to die tonight. But that's probably where I'm going. I do like the Naga as well. So if anybody out there is shopping for a new mouse, there's just 2 yeses for Nagas if you're looking for one.
I say go get a Logitech. Naga sucks.
Have to be the opposite.
I know. I don't care, dude. Actually, honestly, I haven't had that bad of luck with Nagas. I played a little bit with them. They feel too small for me. I got like gorilla hands, and they're just too small for me most of the time. But hey, I'll try them out. I feel like I'm holding like a baby holding I don't know, something smaller than a baby hand. But all right, my favorite bumper. Let's go to the mailbag.
Oh, it's a perfect morning. Great timing, the mailman's just coming.
Morning. Here's the mail. Big bag. See you later.
He must be in a hurry to get away. Very strange. What's the sticking sound? Going to take a look here in this bag of mail. Oh no!
Now you
Just open the ReachCast mailing bag.
It's a big bag.
I might like that one more than the patch notes. It's a tough choice.
It is. The big bag really kind of does it for me.
Yeah, but children swearing should trump everything.
I can't really argue that. Good point. I don't know. Something about that mailbag bumper. All right. First call, our only call, Wolf. What's up?
What's up, ReachCast? Wolf07, Miller TR. Alright, so since there's no new content in the game, besides world domination, which is worldwide and dominating, anyways, I'm gonna talk about nighttime, because there's always a good time to talk about nighttime. And what about nighttime, you would ask, kind sir? Well, it fucking sucks. Seriously, it's probably the brightest night I ever saw anywhere. Like, even Battlefield with its blue filters seems darker than PlanetSide 2. No lies. Well, actually in Battlefield 3 I don't get it with the whole scope glare and nighttime. Yeah. Dynamic much? Guess not. Alright, so PlanetSide 2 nights are pretty bright and I hate it because doesn't really change the game much. I really liked the beta nights, the really dark nights, where you actually had to use a flashlight to find your way. And yeah, I really wish those nights would come back. Seriously. That was awesome. Why did they throw it away? Seriously, are they trolling us or something? Because I really would have loved to play in those nights. Anyways, yeah, it's too bright for me. I'm one of those people who play Arma and like the night in the game. It's really fun to play nighttime in Arma. Anyways, and I would really like it if PlanetSide also had a dark night. Like, really dark, maybe even have cycles in the game, like per se on Endar. It's a whole week of bright nights, then all of a sudden solar eclipse, holy fuck, the whole map is pitch black, I can't find my way through it. Or maybe even a completely dark map where it's never daytime. So yeah, awesome nighttime would be awesome. What do you guys think? Do you agree with Wolf07 that awesome nighttime was awesome? And will be awesome if it ever comes back? Anyways, this is Wolf07 saying peace!
I figured it out. It's been nagging at me this whole time, but that call just explained everything. Wolf07 is a vampire.
I really like the PlanetSide 1 music in the background. I was just kind of mesmerized by it the whole time.
It was very serene. I liked it as well. And I think that SOE needs to talk with whoever owns the Riddick trilogy, and they need to work something out about, like, you can go get your eyeballs polished, or you can become a Superfurian, or the fuck it's called, and go around at night and just stab people to death like Murda does.
I do like the idea of a darker night, but I'm afraid that on the flip side of that it might drive some other people away from the game, newer players away from the game, when they need a flashlight just to get around in the game, and the flashlight is an upgrade that costs, 30 certs?
100
certs.
100 certs and some. Yeah, the problem with that is that, there's a lot of things that would have to change. First off, they would have to make the HS and the not useful during the day.
Which I think they should anyways.
Which currently right now is the best scope period in the game in a lot of ways. But I like the idea. I just think that it'd be really hard. It'd be hard as hell to implement correctly without causing a lot of problems. I would love to have a pitch black continent. That'd be amazing. I could reenact pitch black. Like, get monsters rolling around. They talked about NPCs. Maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe that's what the special month anniversary is going to be. They're going to roll out tons of NPC, like, pitch black monsters fly around the sky and murder everybody.
Somehow,
people have been asking for Dark Knights since the beginning, but they did have the resources to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, really, is what you scroll down Gamma. Scrolls down Gamma.
I'm not I'm not a huge fan, not as much as some people of the beta nights or the darker nights. Maybe it's, I don't know how many people actually play on full screen windowed, so I can't like turn up my in-game brightness. So I just have my monitor set at like a normal, decent brightness. And I feel like the nights get somewhat dark for me. Like there's times where I want to bring out the IRNV scope or throw on a flash suppressor, two things that I don't normally use in daytime for what it's worth. But I could go for them being a little bit darker. I think that it would certainly look cool and feel cool, but from like a performance or competitive perspective, I'm going to really not want to give up my laser sight for that flashlight. And if I'm just like completely useless, if I don't have a flashlight or somebody who does have a flashlight next to me, that feels a little bit off. Then again, if the enemy has a flashlight and you can just see him and he can't see you, maybe that's even better for you. I don't know. I guess I'd have to see how it plays out. It's not something I've been like rooting for, but I'm not completely opposed to it either.
Well, the other thing I realize is that Wolf here, he plays TR. Now, in the darker nights, I have trouble as Vanu picking out NC at times. Differentiate between NC and friendlies.
Picking out NC? Shit, you can't pick out Vanu to save your life.
Well, that's the thing. I can't differentiate between a Vanu and an NC player in the darker nights on the continent, on any continent. And I wonder if it's just because he plays TR that he's automatically, firing at that darker camo anyways. I wonder if he'd sing a different tune if he was playing NC or Vanu.
Possibly. Yeah. It's a good question. I know that Total Biscuit and Balls was had a huge hard on about the darker nights when he was talking about this game in beta. And then they released it and they changed that. I had not heard anything else about that, but I think I don't even know if Total Biscuit even plays the game anymore, to be honest. That was a short-lived endeavor between him and SOE. I don't know if that's still going on or not. So
I think he reinstalled it somewhat recently, but I mean, he's probably involved in so many other projects. He was actually a PlanetSide 1 player, like a considerable PlanetSide 1 player before he was the super ridiculous popular personality that he is right now. I remember he made some PlanetSide 1 ranting videos and things like that back in the day. I remember his one about Surge Isles. The surging agile exosuits, things like that. So I know he at least got somewhat of a start in PlanetSide 1, so I think he has a special place for the game somewhere, if not being super busy with other things these days.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that the guy's experience in PlanetSide 1's kind of formed his love for the game in 2. I hope that continues. Well, let's get on to the emails. We are way overdue on this call.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them too, so strap in, everybody. So our first email is strap in, yeah.
I'm strapping.
Get ready to the express elevator to hell.
We need a soundboard for the straps.
I do.
They use Velcro.
That's all I got.
So our first email is from the Dread Legion, and they say, "What shape is the Dread Legion in? Well, in a word, amazing. Could not be happier or more proud of the outfit that we've built from the ground up." He says, "I never dreamed during all those late-night TeamSpeak sessions with the other founder that it would turn out this well. In my time playing PS2, I saw outfit after outfit fall apart and die, and all for different reasons. It seemed impossible to create something successful, yet in my estimation, we've built an outfit that will last." He goes on to talk about different criteria that constitutes a successful outfit. He says, "Some people go by numbers. We have about 50 right now. To some, that may seem like small potatoes, but we have 100% participation over." He wrote 30, but I think he means 3 days, and 90% participation over 7 days. We run ops 4 nights a week, and many of our members play 5 to 7 nights a week. Not many outfits can say the same. I agree. Some people base it on stats. They've risen to 5th.
Whoa. Hold on, something's screwed up with that. You're saying that out of every 3 days.
He's got 100% people are on over 3 days.
It's got to be 30 because it doesn't make sense. You're backwards on that. How would they have 100% participation on 3 days and only 90% on 7 days?
I asked the opposite. How can you not have 100% participation on 7 days yet have it over 30 days?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's got to be.
He wrote.
Oh, I see.
He wrote, "We have 100% participation over 30 days and 90% over 7 days," and that doesn't make sense. So I think he means 3. But either way,
I get what you're saying. All right, go ahead.
So either way,
I'm still somewhat confused, but
he then goes to describe, about their recruitment. They're on Twitter. They have a YouTube channel. They stream on Twitch. They go where the fights are hard. Don't back down. We're relied on by our peers, respected by our enemies, and we've been invited to participate in the community clash. We have an absurdly active forum, and we consistently have members step up and contribute their hard-earned money to support the outfit website and other ventures. We're active in the community and have prioritized outfit networking from day one. We count many quality outfits among our friends, as well as a few formidable allies. Bade, Cash, and X have all been consummate opponents. We don't judge, nor are we elitist. But the highest compliment to me as an outfit leader is when I get asked by another outfit leader if they can merge with us. I can't think of a better way to judge an outfit's success. All in 4 months. I can't wait to see where we go in the next 4 with the group of guys that we have assembled. The sky's the limit. We would go to war for any of them and do so every night. So, Tread Legion. Good on you. It sounds like you guys are doing the right thing.
It sounds like a Ulysses S. Grant. Like... Sorry, go ahead. I mean,
no, you're fine. It's your show, man. I'm the one interrupting. Anyway, I was going to say I reread that thing, and I think what he was saying is 100% participation, meaning 100% activity over 30 days. So
meaning someone's active at all times over 30 days.
Right, and then 90% being 90% of the outfit log in at least once a week. I think is what he was going for with the number.
I think I can get behind that. I guess I just misconstrued it when I read it. I was trying to figure out what he meant, but I guess it makes sense. Everybody logs in at least once each month, and 90% of those people log in once each week. So, all right, cool. Thanks a lot for confusing me, David, you prick.
I'm sorry. When I first read it, it didn't make any sense. So,
I'm just getting a hard time. All right, the next one was from Thomas. I did not get his game name. He said, VDRS is doing well. Recruits coming in. Recruits getting their questions answered. Recruits dying. And by all means, I should say recruits following along. Learning some new things, and some recruits still stick with us. Typically, we field a regular platoon, 2 or more indie squads, miscellaneous small indie squads. What is indie squad?
Maybe a
public. You might know what this means?
Maybe a public.
Yeah, squad? I would think, one... I wouldn't know what else to reference other than just one that's open to the public. It's led by somebody in VDRS, but it's open to others as well.
Okay. Miscellaneous small indie squads and maybe a second platoon if the online numbers are high enough. Generally, recruitment is run via our open platoons. I guess that kind of goes in line with what he's talking about. Which is to say 9 out of 10 of our platoons in a given week are open recruitment. So it sounds like they're recruiting pretty heavily via open recruitment platoons. So, good on you, VDRS.
Yeah, I agree.
You're all that is vanning? Maybe? VDRS is vanning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thought so. All right, next.
Next is from JackJack223. He says, as part of the 4-man management team that runs TRID, Trident, I felt I should answer your latest question. We are the largest active outfit on the Cobalt server. We currently have a total of over 2,000 members, of which a surprisingly large percentage are active. I never thought we'd get to where we are. I joined in when Trident had less than 50 members or so, because I heard our leader Judge Death recruiting in his platoon chat. And impressed by his tactics and organization, I left IVGD to join TRID. This was back in December of 2012. After a few weeks of play, a team of very active members emerged who were leading platoons and generally doing a lot for the outfit, and we decided to call ourselves the management and work on getting Trident running properly and smooth. Being a software developer, I set up our website, Mumble, forums, etc., which are now home to over 800 registered users. Everything except the forums is custom designed and developed for Trident. We have a special system for promotion, nominations, gaining permissions, etc., and the site has deep integration with the PS2 API. I like that. I think more outfits need to take advantage of the PS2 API. I know a couple different outfits that do that, so good on you guys in Trident for doing that as well. Now to where we are today. We run 2 to 3 platoons at prime time, usually public, to give the random VS on Cobalt a place to get orders and do something constructive. We have a group of highly dedicated platoon leaders and squad leaders who coordinate with each other through Mumble. Recently, we have allowed other VS platoon leaders from outfits to come onto our Mumble and coordinate with us. So far, 1 TNC and PTMC, the two other major Cobalt VS outfits, have taken up our offer. We openly recruit people from our public platoons by frequently asking if anyone is interested in joining and accept anyone so long as they adhere to our regulations. We hold weekly operations and are also a tight-knit, tactical VoIP-required squads for the more hardcore players in the outfits. So yeah, we're doing great.
It's pronounced VoIP. Voice over IP.
VoIP, VoIP, same thing.
All right, our next email is from Tavian.
We had two.
Hey guys.
We had two from him. I combined them both together, just so you know.
All right. Oh God, this doesn't make any sense. This transition's gonna. All right. Well.
There you go. I broke it up for you.
All right. First email from Tavian. Hey guys, what I don't understand is why Sony will not spend a few bucks to put a commercial spot on TV during a semi-decent hour, high ratings hour. Blizzard making a killing after dropping World of Warcraft commercial spots during the Sunday NFL football primetime. Why don't we get to do this?
He says that, and I'm watching Monday Night Football.
I would guess money.
I'm watching Monday Night Football in the background, and I've seen 6 or 7 commercials for Call of Duty Ghosts.
Battlefield.
Call of Duty Ghosts.
Oh. I've seen a couple go off on Battlefield the last couple days. But anyways, don't get me wrong. I understand it's pricey. However, I can't even begin to tell you how many people I know started up WoW because they said, that commercial was awesome. When I saw it, I was free to... Oh. Wow. That commercial was awesome. When I saw it, was free to download it. I downloaded it that night. And I am somehow trying to translate for his email. The majority of my friends were addicted to Modern Warfare. When they saw me playing PS2, they gained huge interest and decided to try it. They are now addicted and are BR50 plus. Wow. The game itself is virtually awesome. It's fast-paced and could produce an awesome commercial spot. Mention it's free to play, and it would be huge. I agree. P.S. Only the French/Asians would fight in a military battle in purple skin-tight, camel-toe-producing spandex. Wow. And throw techno neon green lights on their vehicles. Vanity strong, but the truth is the truth. I think that was a response to you, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if you were going to read that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's pretty mild in comparison to what you get from some of these people.
This is his third email in just as many weeks about going back and forth over this purple skin tight. I still say, whatever. I'm dropping it. We're done.
No, come on. Let's hear it. Let's hear your historical references to why, other factions or populations would not use skin tight, camel toe producing spandex.
Well, I don't think any modern military would use it. So I think his argument is moot.
So you don't think the Asians would do that?
No.
Okay.
Have you seen the North Koreans and stuff like that? They are friggin'
they're
normal camo.
Pretty sure that everybody is. I'm just being sarcastic. So here's second email. Tavian says, I am a member of GOATR, Ghost of the Revolution on Matherson. GOATR has been recruiting via advertisements by any means.
Hasn't been recruiting.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. You're right. GOATR hasn't been recruiting via advertisement by any means. I met them while fighting with them, and that's pretty much their primary method to increase their outfit size. 2 nights a week, we have organized offensives. Very organized, and unless we run into other organized elite outfits, BWC, Rage Quit, we steamroll all night. Even when we bump into them, it's really a good fight. So overall, though, you can definitely see the veteran members of the guild have far less interest/patience lately. I think this definitely has to do a lot with what you mentioned during the show. There really isn't anything much to keep interest. Typically, if a leader logs on and his alert is going, he or she will organize a platoon and will try to win the alert. As soon as it ends, everyone logs off. The game needs content. It's getting boring.
I think he really hit the nail on the head when he said, typically when a leader logs on and there's an alert going, they organize something, but once the alert ends, everyone logs off. I do that. Same thing. I play through the alert and then I'm like, that was a good time. I played a couple hours, did the alert. we won, lost, or whatever. And then I'm like, you know what? I got to go do some other stuff. So I think that happens a lot.
I think somebody dedicating a couple hours to any individual game during a day is actually, for a lot of the populace, that's a pretty big dedication, in my opinion. I mean,
definitely.
There's a lot of adults that only have a couple hours each evening, you know? And if this is their niche, this is their niche.
Yeah, I'm one of those now, and I try to spend as much of it streaming as possible, but I mean, I've got like a maximum of 5 hours free time Monday through Friday. So, I mean, if I stream for 3 or 4, that's most of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. I'm glad that you're making it rain now. That's good. I'm glad that somebody in the community has risen, and they're part of the 1%. That's good.
Yeah. Along with you guys at ReachCast and Hamma and Jenny Boo over at PSU.
Absolutely.
Following your footsteps.
Gold Porsches and diamond grills all day long. All right, next email.
Next email is from B. Postal. He says, with the TR is America as they are now comment, towards the end of last week's show, I actually felt bad about playing TR. I'm not switching back to NC, though, so F it. Also, when one of y'all said something to the effect of, I feel bad for the BR100s who have nothing to do, that was me, what you have to realize is that these BR100s haven't had anything to look forward to, BR-related, since BR15. This isn't PlanetSide. BR doesn't actually mean anything, and playing simply to watch the little numbers grow into larger numbers isn't exactly sustainable and won't keep people playing. That's why we need Hasen, and optimization enough to play there at greater than 10 frames per second, along with the Nexus and the implementation of the global lattice and the mission system. As far as the player base splitting into 2 major groups, MLG and real players, SOE's call should be simple. Focus on the actual player base first before worrying about competitive gameplay, and don't screw over the vast majority of players who don't have a fickle flying F about MLG. There simply isn't the number
who don't give a fickle flying F.
So many Fs are flying in this email.
F. Onwards and upwards? We still going?
We ruined everything.
All right. I think we're shut down now. Are you shut down now, Mark?
Sorry, I had to cough.
Okay.
There simply isn't the number of players playing/interested in competitive play to make it worth it, in my mind. You need at minimum a full platoon per team to really encompass the scale and awesomeness of PS2. In my mind, if MLG focuses on smaller squad-sized combat, then they've effectively made 2 completely different games. And we'll have to design them in parallel.
He must have another coughing fit.
Sorry. This will further the potential schism in the player base, and you'll end up with the caverns all over again. Sure, they were kind of important thanks to geowarps and pain mods, but if you weren't a Fraggle, you still couldn't be asked to go and fight in them. He's spot on everything. B. Postal, kudos to you this week.
Fraggles. He's talking about Fraggles. That's awesome.
Well, you never played in the caves in PlanetSide, so yeah.
I know what Fraggles are, though.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So yeah, B. Postal, good email. Good email, sir.
Yeah, it was good. I'm just going to say with regard to the BR100 thing, I totally see both sides of that. I play 4 characters, so despite having 100,000 kills, none of them are BR100 yet. My closest is BR98. So I'm approaching that, and I kind of feel both sides of it. He's totally right that since BR15, it hasn't made a difference other than cosmetics. But at the same time, as I approach that on one of my characters, I find myself going, oh, am I going to just want to play the other 3 and not play the one? Because like it or not, there's that little bit of a side goal in the back of your head where that number's not increasing anymore. But I mean, he's totally right, but there is some sort of psychological effect as well.
Agreed. People like to max out. I mean, whether it has a reason behind it or not. It's just, people like to see their limit. I like to read back a part of this email. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Okay, this isn't PlanetSide. BR doesn't actually mean anything, and playing simply to watch the little numbers grow into larger numbers isn't exactly sustainable and won't keep people playing. Have you ever played Cookie Clicker, sir?
Let's not even get into Cookie Clicker, please.
That's all I have to say. Next email. From DVEG. Apparently DVEG is ItZMuRda. That's 3 aliases I've heard from this guy. He tells me he doesn't have split personality disorder. I think he's sending it from multiple emails just to say that, but whatever. I'm ItZMuRda, and I'm from the Foundation outfit on Ceres, Europe. It's a pretty big outfit, having nearly 1,100 members. Although maybe around a quarter of it is active. We're satisfied with our impact on the server. Despite some people not logging in as often as we'd like to, we're not kicking anyone though, as we think that it's great that if people ever want to come back to the game, they'll find that they're still welcome here. So that's cool. As for recruiting, we find that running recruitment platoons and inviting people who want to join is the best way. We're not pushing our outfit into people, we're pulling them towards it. So more pull, not push. It's good. Sounds like recruitment platoons are the way to go. A lot of people.
I agree. Well, you see them all the time, so I'm not surprised it's the way to go. Of course, please don't fall into the trap of being that recruitment platoon that randomly invites the people that are lone wolfing into your outfit, because I friggin' hate that. Especially when you get 6 of them from the same person in the 1 hour that you played with them.
You want to join us? You want to join us?
Yeah. All right, our last email is from Narc. He says, well, guys, I have to give you credit for your unwavering support of PS2. Considering that the game has really become a stagnant swamp worthy of the non-existent world of Hassan, your faith in the future of the game is admirable, if not astonishing. I hear a lot of talk of a better game, but so far it's nothing but talk. I'll keep listening to ReachCast for my updates on the state of the game, but for now I'll be playing some other games to pass the time. See you on Hassan someday.
Part of the 1%, man. 1% doesn't give up. 1% battles on.
Narc's got some point. He kind of mirrors on a smaller scale some of the stuff B Postal was saying. There's, and we've said it in the past too. It's kind of hit this point where there's not a lot of content coming out, and people are becoming bored as a result of it.
So, without ups and downs, we would all become complacent.
This is true. And who knows, the optimization pass could blow everybody's mind, and hundreds of thousands of people can come back to the game, and everything will be great. And they'll start dropping continents on our heads like it's Christmas, and,
Making it rain continents.
Continents.
I hate to take this to a depth that's not really necessary for the show, but so it's the same way with life. If you don't ever look forward to something and you don't have to wait for something, then it doesn't really matter to you. I mean, to be honest, they could release continents every other week for this game, and that would be too much, or people would get burned out in the game either way. But if you never, honestly, as is everything, if you never have to wait and there's no anticipation for something, nothing ever matters. As much as I would love to see Haas, and as much as I would love to see a lot of things, I bitch as much as anybody else. That is something you kind of have to keep in the back of your mind. At least I try to keep in the back of my mind. That
yeah, for sure.
Without anticipation, without the wait, the delivery is not as important. So
I'm gonna add this in here because the OMFG thread update Ryan Elam made during this recording of this show. So it is out now on the PlanetSide 2 official forums. He talks about what you'll see on the test server here in the next day or two, what you can expect to see in the patch on October 30th, and there is an incentive to log on to test server if you didn't care otherwise. If you log in anytime from now until the day that the patch goes live, you get a 3-day experience boost for your live account to help them test out the optimization. So thought I'd put that out there.
Nice. That's cool to see that they're incentivizing people to log on to PTS. It's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, now we got 2 reasons to close this out. We're 7 minutes past Murda's bedtime, and I gotta load up the test server. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Let's do this. Let's have Murda read us the thank yous for the week, since I can't read.
All right. Our thank yous for the week go out to Olive Dread Legion, Thomas, Jack 223, Tavian, B Postal, Dveg or Dveg, and Narc.
Dveg, I like that.
Yeah, I've got a guy that I've known for like 40,000 years named Veg, and it's just spelled the same way without the D. So I went in case he was doing the same thing as my guy. Figured I'd give him that potential pronunciation.
I like it. Okay, contact info for the show. You can hit us at reachcastshow.com, email us at reachcastshow@gmail.com, call us at 415-787-3224, kind of like Wolf. And our Steam group, ReachCast, Twitch. We don't use Twitch anymore. We use AGN's Twitch. Show Twitter, ReachCast Show. You can reach us on Twitter at I am ReachCastTorx.
You can
Derringer?
catch me at The Derringer. You can also find Nox at Noxia, Noxxia.
Okay, so Murda, this is the time you make it rain. Let's hear all the.
I've wasted enough time, so I'm gonna make it simple. But my primary, connection with the community is through my live stream that I try to do every day. It's usually in the evenings on weekdays after work, sometime between 5:30 and 10:30 Eastern, and all day long on Saturday and Sunday if I can afford it. If I don't have something else to do, it's not uncommon to do like a 10-hour stream. I just did 11 hours last Saturday. And then 4 hours on Sunday with a break, and then another 4 hours. So that's really where I get the time in, and I think a lot of people appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. I really, thank you guys for coming out and supporting it and following it and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep doing it, and it's over at either ItZMuRda.com. We'll redirect that, ItZMuRda.com, or you can go to twitch.tv/ItZMuRda_TV. And I also have every possible social media platform that people can have these days, and the name for all of those is ItZMuRda X. It's just ItZMuRda with an X before and after. So that'll take you to my YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the hell you want me to be on. Just type the URL /X ItZMuRda X, and it'll take you there.
Nice. All right. As always, we want to thank the rest of the ReachCast crew. Steve Cliff. Steve Cliff, John, Trini Buhama, and Timo was taken. So, thank you. That's it for the show.
Stiff.
Thank you. Thank you, Murda, for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure. Good way to end it.
Yeah, and take care, sir. We will see you in game as we get shot by you at some point.
Sounds
probably.
good. Yeah, I'll see you on Community Clash too.
Yep. Take care, man.
Sounds like a plan.
A good one. Thanks, guys.
That's right, Sergeant. You made the call. All right, soldiers. You've done a great job here today. Let's get our stuff and get the hell out of here.